So let's have a look at some grade 9 exam questions. It's all about getting the base the same as the first step. So on the right hand side, because we've got a base of 3, I'm assuming we need to get everything on the left as a base of 3. So 18 is 2 times 9, and 9 is 3 squared. So we have 18. Well, we've got 2 times 3 squared, but let's just leave it like that for now. 27 is 3 cubed, and square root is half, power half, and that's all to the power of 4n plus 6. And it's all over 6, we can write as 2 times 3. 9 we can write as 3 squared, and then it's all to the power 2n plus 8, and it's equal to 3 to the power x. We just simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1, they cancel. 3 squared divided by 3 would leave you with a 3 on the numerator. We've got power to a power to a power, so we're multiplying everything here. So I would work out half times 4n plus 6 first. Which is 2n plus 3. And then we're multiplying the 2n plus 3 by 3, which would give us 3 to the power 6n plus 9. All over. So I've simplified that 3, I've cancelled that with one of those 3's, leave 3 at the top. So let's do a power to a power now. 2 times 2n plus 8 is 4n plus 16 is equal to 3 to the power x. Let's carry on simplifying. 3 is 3 to the power 1. The base is the same. When we multiply, we add the powers. So 1 add 6n add 9 is 6n plus 10. And now we can subtract the powers. But let's just be a bit careful with this. So we need to do 6n plus 10 minus 4n plus 16. 6n take away 4n is 2n. 10 take away 16 is minus 6. So 3 to the power 2n minus 6 is equal to 3 to the power x. X is equal to 2n minus 6. So I've expressed x in terms of n there. Okay, have a go at, I think I've got 3 of these exam questions for you to look at. Let's just make this a little bit bigger for you. Difficult to see the powers. Right, have a go at these 2 here and then the one on the next page. Put me on pause and pause when you're done. Okay, right, so base 5 I'm thinking. 30 is 6 times 5. 25 is 5 squared. And then that's all to the power 2x plus 7. And then for our denominator, right, root 180. I don't want to write that as 180 to the power half because the base isn't 5. Let's just simplify root 180, that third. You can actually do this on your calculator and kind of work backwards. I'm thinking I want a 5 in there somewhere. So what's 180 divided by 5 is 36. So 36 is a square number, so that works well. So that's the same as root 36 times root 5, which is 6 root 5. So I've got 6 times root 5, which is 5 to the power half, but I'll deal with that in a minute. And then times 5 to the power half, all to the power 4x plus 9. Great, I can simplify the 6's, cancel them out. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So I've got now 5 times 5 to the power. Got a power of a power, so we'll multiply by 2. Now for the denominator, we've got 5 to the power of half times 5 to the power power of power. So I'm going to multiply here. Half of 4x plus 9 would be 2x plus 4.5. That's power 1. So let's just simplify this. 1 add 4x add 14 would be 4x plus 15. And then half add 2x plus 4.5, that'd be 5 to the power 2x plus 5. Now I can subtract the powers, but let's just be careful because we're subtracting all of 2x plus 5. So we could have 5 to the power 4x take away 2x is 2x. And then 15 take away 5, positive 10. What's my base going to be? Well, I've got some base 2s and base 5s. So I'm just going to write this numerator first of all as much with a base of 2 and a base of 5 as I can. Now 10 is 2 times 5. It's always thinking, how can I rewrite this? Well, I can write 10 as 2 times 5. So I've got 2 and a 5 in there. I'm going to multiply out these brackets here because you've got power to a power, 3n squared minus 15n. I'm going to do the same by multiplying out these 2 minus 4n. I'm also going to times both sides by 20 squared. But I've noticed I can write 20 squared as, well, it's 4 times 5, isn't it? But it's 2 squared times 5 squared. Now, this 2 times 5 to the power 4n, let's write that a bit differently. That's the same as 2 to the power 4n times 5 to the power 4n. Don't try and do too much in one go. Let's look at my next step now. Okay, well, on the right hand side, I can square both of these. 2 squared squared, power to a power, that'd be 2 to the power 4. 2 times 2 is 4, and then we've got 5 squared. On the left hand side, I'm just going to rewrite the multiplication. So I've got my 2's all together, and then my 5's. And then we can see, hopefully, that you can add the powers where the base is 2, and you can add the powers where the base is 5. So 4n plus 3n squared minus 15n will give you 3n squared minus 11n. And then 5, for the 5's, you can add the powers. 4n add 2n take away 4n, it should be squared. I can divide both sides by 5 squared now. They would disappear. So now I can see that I've got 2 to the power 3n squared minus 11n equals 2 to the power 4. So 3n squared minus 11n is equal to 4. Got a quadratic equation. Let us subtract 4 from both sides because it needs to be equal to 0. So we're solving a quadratic equation where the coefficient of x squared is, or n squared here, is greater than 1. So you can decide if you want to split down the middle or use a different method. I'm not going to go through that method. You should get n minus 4 for one of your brackets and 3n plus 1 for the other. We just solve over here, which gives you n equals minus a third and n equals 4. So it says find the values of n. Here are your two values for n. Okay, last question. Find an expression for x in terms of n. Our base is going to be 2 for this. So 2 to the power n, 2 to the power x squared. 16 is 2 to the power 4 to the power x. And 8 is 2 cubed. I'm just going to simplify my power of a power. I'm going to add all of my powers on the right hand side. Okay, so now I can see that n is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, what do I need to do now? I need to find an expression for x in terms of n, state any restrictions on n. So for x, I need to make x a subject. How do I do that? This is similar to inverse function when you've got a quadratic. I need to complete the square. That's the only way to make x a subject here. So plus 2, because that's half of 4. I've created a 2 times 2, so I need a minus 4. There's lots of videos on my channel about completing the square and completing the square for an inverse function as well. So you can be welcome to watch those. I add 1 to both sides. Let me just get rid of that bracket. I'm not sure where I put that in. Now square root both sides. Okay, so x is bigger than 0, right? So we actually only need the positive square root, not our negative answer. Now we need to subtract 2 from both sides. I'm going to just put that there. So we have an expression for x in terms of n. State any restrictions on n. Right, we know x is bigger than 0, right? So we're going to look at the restrictions for n. So add 2 to both sides. Square root both sides. So square both sides. And then minus 1 to both sides. So the restriction for n is going to be bigger than 0.